Anyone who watches this show consistently, and if you do, thank you, knows that I love to call out this one specific lie of Donald Trump's, that he won some historic victory last year, that it was an overwhelming election mandate. That is just not the case. Donald Trump squeaked by a victory, and any sort of honeymoon period that he had, any sort of, excitement about his presidency is completely gone. It is done, and it is down the drain, even worse than anyone ever could have guessed. And that is the message that we have to continue to deliver about the failures of Donald Trump's policy. And it is the message that is getting him so angry and upset that he's realizing he's no longer popular, although he was barely ever popular. And someone who did a great job delivering that message was Jasmine Crockett. And it's leading to Trump meltdown in a Truth Social post that we're going to get into. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video. And if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way. And it really does mean a lot to me. Now let's get into Jasmine Crockett, and then we'll check out that insane post.
I know you voiced concerns about Elon Musk's influence within the current administration. Supporters say he brings innovative leadership and efficiency to the government, and the White House says he's not in charge of Doge, he's an advisor to the president. So what's your response to that, and what are the Oversight Committee's top priorities right now?
Yeah, so oversight, the purpose of the Oversight Committee is to get rid of waste, fraud, and abuse. And right now, we've not heard from Elon Musk nor anyone else that works for Doge. So it's interesting that prior to, it was a matter of Elon Musk is the one that's running Doge. He is the one that is shutting off funds. He's the one that's committing basically a lot of constitutional as well as legal issues as it relates to our monies and what we do in Congress. But now they're saying, no, he's just there to advise. And in an advisory capacity, the president can have whoever he wants advising. The problem is that no one has come before my subcommittee or any other committee in Congress to talk about their proposals. Instead, they post proposals on social media, or they claim to have found waste, fraud, or abuse. And we know that the vast majority of waste, fraud, or abuse exists within the Defense Department. And yet there's not been any conversations yet whatsoever about the fact that the Defense Department has failed to pass an audit in at least the last 6 audits.
You're also calling on Musk to appear before Congress. Why? What do you want to ask him?
Well, first of all, I want to ask him, what exactly has he been doing? Who is it that he's hired? Who is it that he's firing? How he's coming to the conclusions that he's coming to? What makes him believe that getting rid of our workforce, including those that are in charge of keeping our nuke situation safe or keeping planes from falling out of the sky? I want some analysis behind what it is that he is recommending to the president or to OPM or to anyone else that is engaging in what I feel like is more so a dismantling of our modern day democratic republic. And I want him to basically prove me wrong. I want to know that there is some end game that actually benefits the American people. And it's not just about lining his pockets, which we see as he recommended to turn off the spigot of money to everyone else. He ended up garnering himself an additional $400 million contract for Tesla and an additional over $300 million for SpaceX. And we know that the Republicans right now are proposing to raise the debt ceiling. Why do you need to raise the debt ceiling if somehow you are going about saving us a lot of money? And it is because of these tax cuts that they are also proposing that they are not talking about to the American people. And I want to make sure the American people have the full story.
Has Musk or anyone from the Trump administration responded to that request that you're making for him to come before Congress?
No, absolutely not. We actually did a motion to do a subpoena for Musk in the Oversight Committee, and the Republicans shut it down. Now, here's the deal. If everything that he is doing is above board and they have nothing to hide, then why wouldn't you want him to come out and testify?
So I want to stop that clip right there, and we're going to get into it again in just a little bit because there was a lot more Jasmine Crockett had to say. But this is what we have to be talking about, how awful these agency cuts are, how destructive Donald Trump taking a meat axe to the federal government is, how just dumb all of their actions are. They don't know what they're doing. It's why they're desperately trying to rehire people. There is no cohesive plan here. There is no strategy. These people are not smart. We have to stop legitimizing them and acting like they are. It's just not the case. And it is why Donald Trump has become so quickly the most unpopular president at this point in a presidency in history. And he's furious about it. And it's why he's trying to go back to that old lie that I say we have to call out, that he won some historic mandate and everyone wanted this. So that's why Donald Trump made this insane post. Trump wrote, I won the presidential election in a landslide, won all 7 swing states, the popular vote, and all 50 states, shifted Republican, a record, and now I have the best polling numbers I've ever had. The Democrats, run by broken down losers like James Carville, who's weak of mind and body, are going crazy and just don't know what to do. They have lost their confidence and spirit. They have lost their minds. We are going to have big wins for our country and make America great again. It's already happening and will get bigger and better than ever before. No. To put it bluntly, there have been no wins. There is no popularity for you. Your policies are incredibly underwater and everyone hates you again, Donald. They remembered the reasons why Democrats were so right to warn people about you. I wish people had listened. And I hope they listened to the points that James Carville made that really upset Donald Trump. So before we get back into Jasmine Crockett, let's take a look at those right here.
Tens and hundreds of billions. American all right, you went for 10 minutes.
All right,
okay.
Go ahead.
If he can find the money, great, give everybody $1,000. But I'll tell you this, more deficit has accumulated under Donald Trump than the other president in American history. But I'm glad that you're on the fiscal responsibility bandwagon. I'm glad you're on the bandwagon of Bill Clinton being able to balance the budget and bring unbelievable prosperity to America. But, and you're reading these polls, and I'm reading the polls saying the Democrats are 13 points up in the congressional generic, that Donald Trump has the lowest approval rating of any president at this point in his presidency in American history. So your viewers are getting one view, and I'm reading another view. So one of us is right and one of us is wrong. It's that
we
simple.
Put on Trafalgar.
They got fact checkers at Fox, and
well, we do, and we put on Trafalgar and Matt Towery and Robert Cahaley,
right,
and
right. So let's just say I missed a. I think the Republican Party is against the minimum wage. I think the Republican Party stands for more tax cuts for people making over $400,000 a year. I think the Republican Party wants to get rid of a woman's right to choose. I think the Republican Party wants to destroy Medicaid. I think the Republican Party would like to get rid of Medicare if it possibly can. I think the Republican Party supports Vladimir Putin. I think the Republican Party is weak when it comes to communist China. So there are a lot of issues of which I have profound and deep disagreements with the Republican Party on. I must tell you that in all honesty.
And now, we covered that interview last night, and I made the point that say what you will about any position that James Carville takes, his unapologetic tone while delivering these call-outs of Trump are the exact model that Democrats need to be following. We need to take that position of an unapologetic, just opposition party, all out, Mitch McConnell-style obstruction all the time for whatever he does. Do not bend the knee in any given instance, always be fighting back. Because it's not only the right thing to do, but it's good politics in this moment. He is unpopular. At the beginning of Donald Trump's term, when there was this kind of guise of, oh, he's popular. Oh, people like him. Oh, people voted for this, which I always said was BS, and I was right about. Thank you. I thought there were too many Democrats who were like, well, maybe it might be more popular to work with Trump. It's a bipartisan. No, don't do that. That was dumb. He's unpopular. These positions are bad. Fight back against them, which is what we're doing, and which is what Jasmine Crockett talked more about right here.
Now, Musk campaigned with Trump, telling voters that he would cut government spending and reduce the deficit. Now they're conducting mass layoffs, and Doge's website claims it has saved an estimated $55 billion through fraud detection as well. So isn't this what the American people voted for?
Oh, absolutely not. Listen, when he was campaigning with Donald Trump, he was going around and jumping around on a stage. Now, I think that no matter if you're a Democrat, Republican, or independent, you want to know that we are being as efficient as possible with your tax dollars. And so I think that all American people are on board for this. This is why the Oversight Committee has always existed within the Congress. It is because we are supposed to be the watchdogs over the money. But this idea that if we get rid of USAID, that that is going to fix our money woes is another farce. USAID takes up less than 1% of our entire budget. They don't want to talk about the other 99%. Or they're going out and they're saying that Medicaid, Medicare, that those things shouldn't exist. Now, the chairman of the budget committee says that they're going after Social Security next. Listen, I don't think that the American people signed up for a government that would say, we know that you have worked so hard for all these years and paid into a system, and now we're just going to say, oh, well, we don't have the money for you, so that the likes of Elon Musk or Bezos or Zuckerberg or all the billionaires that showed up to be there with him when he swore in, so that they could just save more money, and we end up carrying the load. We being the working people of America, we being the people that are struggling paycheck to paycheck. We know that right now they literally just proposed legislation to get rid of what the Biden-Harris administration did around limiting those $5 or making sure that those that end up with overdraft fees don't exceed $5. They wanted to go back to $35 or however much people were charging. They're not doing anything to help the American people. Right now, our food costs are up because they've decided that they want to go after immigrants. They've decided that they don't want anyone to keep watch over what's going on with the bird flu. Listen, right now we are headed towards a recession, and I can tell you that not one person that voted, no matter if they were a Democrat or a Republican, asked for that. So this is something that is going to be on the Trump administration, and I'm just bracing right now.
Now, President Trump says he likes the idea of giving some of the savings from Doge back to Americans as kind of a dividend. Would you support that?
Listen, he's just telling a lie. He's not the one that had anything to do with the $1,200 refunds that people had during the midst of COVID. That was done by a Democratic House and Democratic Senate. Right now, what they're going to do is say, hey, we want to give you a refund, but Congress won't let us, because they already know that there's just no money for that. The only reason that those refunds came before was because we were living in different times. This was a time in which hopefully we won't ever go through again. We had a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic. The bad part is that I don't know if it's once in a lifetime, because we know that Ebola, unfortunately, was detected right here in New York here recently. And if we continue down this road of getting rid of scientists or deciding that we don't want to rely on experts as it relates to what they're telling us to do, or we don't want to deal with vaccines and medicine in this country, then we may be facing not only our next pandemic, but our next 2, 3, or 4 pandemics because of their incompetence. We are headed towards a recession because the United States government is the 15th largest employer in the world. And so firing those that work for the federal government isn't going to necessarily create new jobs in private industry. In fact, Southwest Airlines, based in my district, just announced for the very first time in its entire existence that they are doing a layoff of approximately 15% of their workforce. If you pay attention, the signs are there. And I'm not telling you to be an alarmist. I'm telling you because I want to be honest with the American people.
This is the fight we have to be bringing. This is the fight we are talking about every day on this show. And this is the fight that we got to continue to push. And like I said, we're going to be doing it every day here. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video. And if you stuck around at the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.